Hey, Kevin Guthrie here from Radio New York, delivering another one of our COVID-19 and mental health podcasts. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for tuning in to yet another masterpiece in production. We have a guest. I said we'd get some guests, and we've definitely got another guest with us today. Today, we have the lovely Beth Rodway. Welcome, Beth.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So where are you currently geographically? Is that the right word? Yeah.
I am in Nunhead in southeast London. I'm currently staying at my partner's house for a few weeks, which is lovely. Nice to be back in London for a little bit.
But you are originally a Newark local girl?
I am. I was born in Nottingham, and then as I think 4 or 5, I moved between villages around Newark and Grantham, Claypole or Bennington, Westborough, those sort of things.
Excellent. I put a shout out looking for guests to talk about the COVID experience. Obviously, I know your mum, and so I got to know a little bit about some of the stuff that had been happening in your life. And I think I reached out to you because I thought it would make a really interesting story. So just give people, I guess, a little bit of background into, firstly, what do you do? Why are you in London? What are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing there? Why did you leave us?
I suppose after school, so I went to Stephen Grantham Girls' School in Grantham, which was, I had a really enjoyable experience of secondary school, but I always kind of felt that I didn't really fit in. I would spend hours after school in the art room, just a couple of us, me and my art tutor. And post sixth form, I went to study architecture in Brighton.
Okay.
And I really fell in love with Brighton, actually, the city, the culture, the people there as well. And it really opened up a different world to me. And from Brighton, I moved to London. I suppose with the idea of working in architecture in my head, London was just where all the jobs were, to be honest, all the exciting jobs. I think it's to do with my friends as well. Friends are really important to me, and there was I made a really close group of friends at university in Brighton, and we all moved together, and we're all in London together now, which is really lovely.
So you moved from architecture into
drawing. I did. I went to work in an architecture practice after my degree, and architecture school I found is very different to working in architecture. I think in university everything's very speculative, it's very fun, it's very creative. Your projects don't have financial restraints, for example. And my favorite part was all the narratives that went behind it, all these stories, and always hand drawing. That's something I've always loved. And moving into an architecture practice where there's financial restraints of designing housing, which was interesting, but not as interesting as the projects I was designing at uni. And I was on computers every day, and so after that I thought I was really stuck, actually, and I just didn't feel like this was really for me. So I applied, and I'd never been to art school, so I thought, you know what, I think I'd never been to art school because it's the thought that you grow up with that if you're an artist, you're never really going to be able to make a living, it's this old wives' tale. And it's, I suppose adults put this on you a little bit as well. I'm not blaming anyone, but and it's probably, if I had a child, maybe I'd disencourage them to do that as well. But basically I put that to the side of my brain and just thought, I'm going to do this for me. So I went to study on a scholarship program at the Royal Drawing School, which is based in Shoreditch, and that's a master's, and you just draw every single day. And you do classes in the National History Museum, you stand in the middle of tube stations, you really get used to people watching you draw every different mediums, life drawing. and it was great. And at the beginning, I remember the first day, I felt so out of my depth. You know, I'd never been to art school before. I felt awful. I was like, what have I done? I've made a huge mistake. But by the end of it, it was definitely the best year I've had in terms of creativity and my career, and just really turning a corner, sorry. And it came out really well, and I won a couple of prizes, and from that experience, I think led me into certain galleries and certain exhibitions, and it really just gave me the confidence to think that, wow, I can really do this, you know.
You have something.
Definitely, and just to persevere. So yeah, I'd say to anyone, if you've got a dream at 16 or 17, you know, just follow it straight away.
Actually, you know what you did there was that what I took from that there was that you felt it. You felt it and you recognized your feelings, and then you followed it. And for a lot of people, they may feel things, but then they don't follow.
Yeah, completely.
What was most profound there was that you felt it, and then went, no, I'm not in the right place. I'm not in the right arena here. I need to move across. So,
yeah, definitely.
That's brilliant. Okay, so we kind of forgive you for leaving Newark and Claypole. You're okay. You can stay there if you want. So, one of the reasons that we were going to have this chat today was to talk about your experience of COVID-19 or Corona, and how you've navigated the last 3 months. And just before we started recording, you said something to me that was so profound, and it was, you said something around how this experience has just opened up new doors for you that may never have been opened. So just tell us a little bit about that.
Definitely. A very interesting few months. I only went freelance, so I only took the step to become freelance last October. So when COVID hit the UK, when lockdown hit, what was it, middle of March? Yeah, I'd only been doing it 6 months or so. And so obviously I didn't qualify for the government scheme of self-employed payouts. So I was really panicking, and most of my income, some from commissions, but most of it was from exhibitions and large paintings, you know. So obviously exhibitions were cancelled. So I was panicking a little bit. So I thought that I'm going to have to move online. I'm going to have to start selling online. So through Instagram, there was a scheme that Matthew Burrows, an artist, kind of created, called the Artist Support Pledge. And it's an affordable way of buying art. So art cannot be priced more than £200. And you post it online, you say, you know, for sale, description of the piece, and you tag it Artist Support Pledge, and then that could reach anyone in the world, obviously. So, and since the beginning of April, I've been selling one a day for the past 3 months. So that's been like a lifesaver for me, almost.
That's incredible.
It's been so great. And also not just the selling aspect, but meeting so many new clients. If you think about how many different people there's, and I've had such interesting conversations with people halfway across the world, you know, and just met so many people in Australia, and a lot in California, and a lot in Denmark, and just really interesting artists and dancers, and just people I never would have met otherwise. So that's been really, really great. And also it's almost like a circle. So for every grand you make, you have to spend £200 buying another artist's work. So I've also ended up with a nice pile of my own art, which is really lovely, and perhaps something I would never have bought otherwise, you know. So it's been really great.
What an amazing scheme to come from like a pandemic. Just incredible in terms of, yes, there was the finance side of it, but like you say, getting your name out there. Now your name is literally all over the world, in different pockets all over the place. So that's incredible. I love little stories like this where we can look at a pandemic and go, but look at what happened. This is incredible. And then your own pile of little unique pieces of art from around the world.
You're right. And I will look back on those when they're hung in my home thinking,
Yeah.
oh, I remember the day I bought that, And I remember having this lovely conversation with the artist about it.
Yeah. That's amazing. So that's your work behind you, isn't it? We should point out that's your work behind you.
This is. I've got a little makeshift studio at the moment. Just got a few prints up.
We've actually got a piece that's tucked away safely in a drawer. I've got it wrapped up because one day you're going to be so famous that it's going to sell for an absolute fortune. So it's never going to see the light of day until that point that it gets sold.
Fingers crossed. Here's hoping.
Keep marketing yourself because I'm relying on it as a retirement fund.
Yeah, I should probably start one of those. That's another thing about being self-employed.
No pressure there. So that was a really great example of there was a phrase that I came across a couple of months ago, and it was thriving, not surviving, and the other one was a post-traumatic survival. Thriving. Again, it was about thriving, and actually that's what you're proving here, isn't it? That you can absolutely thrive through a situation like this. We don't need to just survive it. We can do more than that.
Yeah, I suppose so. I think that's very true, actually. And I don't know, I think I'm the sort of person who has suffered from anxiety in the past, and perhaps would have expected to be quite anxious during this lockdown period.
Yeah.
But I think one of the main reasons that I haven't been is because I moved back to my mum's house in Claypole, so Nottinghamshire area. And like you said before, I've been in the countryside, and I've been spending so much time with her, which has been lovely because I have never really been able to have 3 months just with her. It's been quite stressful at times, but mostly lovely. Mostly lovely, and just to be looked after, and just felt really safe, I think. And I think the first few times I came back to London, I did feel a little bit on edge, and it is the exposure, isn't it? You feel people, and I think in the countryside there's just you and nature, which is really nice. But it was nice. It was good for productivity levels and not having any distractions.
So how was it different being here in lovely rural market town Newark, then going back to the hustle and bustle of London with lots and lots of people?
It was I suppose it was a bit shocking at first.
Yeah.
And like you said, I felt very vulnerable as well, because I suffered from shingles last year at the end of the year, quite badly in the left side of my face and my eye.
Yeah.
Was hospitalized for about 10 days. So, and until mid-March when we had lockdown, I was still on steroids at that time. So that's one of the reasons I moved back to Newark. So I did feel very vulnerable being out in London. Yeah. And I think it's one of those things you do have to look after yourself and put yourself as number one. And it was difficult, 3 months away from my partner and my friends. And I think towards the end of it, my mum she's quite overprotective of me in a positive way, but she was really didn't want me to go back, Yeah. But understandably, but I think towards the end of those 3 months, you could see that I was really struggling a bit mentally, just it's not the same, a phone call or a Zoom to real life contact. So it's been really nice to see my friends again.
Yeah, absolutely. In London, just to give people a picture of how things are down there, because I love London, I love going, but obviously I haven't been down for some time. Are people quite... I mean, if you go out in Newark, you see the odd person wearing a mask and gloves and different things. Do you see that in London? Do you see people protecting themselves and taking it seriously?
Everyone, I think probably 60-70% of people outside are wearing masks constantly. which is great. Especially in shops where you can't social distance. But I would say you go to, as in Hyde Park on Sunday and it was packed. Like, you wouldn't think there's a pandemic. Everyone is socializing. But I think people are being careful.
Yeah.
Definitely. So it's good to know. It's reassuring. I don't know. I mean, the death rate's so low at the moment, which is fantastic. And it gives you a sense of hope with that. But I guess we're just lucky. Other places in the world aren't so lucky right now.
Yeah, absolutely. How much do you engage in the news?
It's difficult. Before the pandemic, maybe more so.
Yeah.
And I try and check it once or twice a day at the moment. But before, I would, for example, would have the alerts on my phone. I've taken them off. I think it's perhaps maybe ignorant of me to try to disengage a bit, but when it's also horrific at the moment, it's quite hard, I think.
Why did you say then that it might be a little bit ignorant of you to disengage?
Because I think that the news isn't directly affecting me. So, for example, Corona's not directly affecting me, like my health. Black Lives Matter at the moment isn't directly affecting me.
Yeah.
We've got white privilege. Just a lot of the issues that are in the world right now, like, we're lucky enough to be exempt from. And I feel that it's my responsibility I should be connecting, and reading as much as I can about it.
Okay, so here's the thing. So when you said then, I try and watch the news once or twice a day, I was like, ooh, that's a lot. And then you said, and I feel it's a little ignorant of me to disengage. And I was like, once or twice a day is a lot of watching news.
Yeah.
So in this house,
check the news, on my phone, just
So in this house, we stopped watching it completely early days. And then, if I'm honest, I never watch the news anyway, period.
Yeah.
Not watch the news. I will catch stuff on Facebook as I scroll. I will catch stuff on Instagram as I scroll. And I come from this kind of area where I go, if I need to know something like Black Lives Matter, then I will find out, because there will be a massive foray about it, and I will find out, and then I will do my own research into what happened.
That's true. Yeah.
It's like the other day, so I believe Leicester City's gone back into lockdown. I don't watch the news, but I know it's happened because it's all over.
Yeah, that's so true. And that only happened a few days ago, and you already know about it. You're right.
Do you know what I mean? So my argument is, and particularly around the Black Lives Matter subject, I remember people saying, if you're not getting involved, that makes you racist. If you're not getting involved, then you're as bad as the rest of them. And I was like, hold on a minute. I have a client base of about 25 a week. I'm up against it most weeks. I don't have time. I did something and I'm out there and I supported. But when it comes to your anxiety, my anxiety, our mental health, I think it's really important that we take care of our own.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the capacity to watch the news once a day because it makes you anxious, then don't.
Yeah.
But don't feel bad about it either.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I'll think about that, definitely.
I remember having a discussion with my sister, who is really, really highly intelligent. She was like one of the leads at Banbury and Oxford College. And she was saying she was watching the news every day. And I went, why are you doing that? She said, well, because I have to. And I went, why? And I went, well, because it's ignorant if I don't, isn't it? And I went, no, why are you watching that? It's rubbish. It's somebody else's opinion of what's happening. It's not overly factual. It's just... You're
right, it isn't completely,
just an opinion.
Yeah, a lot of it is so biased as well. So the news we're often reading, a lot of it isn't true.
Yeah.
So it is very difficult. But
it's an opinion.
No, I think you're right. When you do find an important matter, it's good to seek out different sources, especially.
Yeah. Somebody did tell me, there was a source that somebody gave me a while ago, and I need to go back to her and ask her, because she said what happens is this particular medium pulled together loads of new stories and then almost kind of go for like a middle ground. So it's they remove all of the emotion and the bias and just give you facts. And I was like, I like that, because I don't want to hear other people's facts. I want to hear if there's a meteor heading towards the Earth, then I just need to know that.
Yeah,
I don't need to know emotions around it.
That's so true. Yeah, definitely.
Because that does me no good whatsoever. So if you're watching the news once or twice a day, you're not being ignorant. You're still involved.
Yeah. It's just so difficult. But
so tell me a little bit more about the artwork. Was there am I right in thinking there was a second project that you got involved in?
Yes. So I think early April. I remember I was looking around for exhibitions to. I was thinking of donating money, obviously, to all these, like Mind charity or straight to the NHS, for example. But then I thought we should do something. I'd rather donate a piece of artwork, I think. So I was looking for an exhibition that I could donate to and couldn't really find one. So I remember speaking to my friend and who I studied with, an amazing printmaker, Rachel Neal, rang her and said, I'm thinking about starting an exhibition, curating an exhibition. So something just to raise money for Mind charity, where we can get local artists involved, or it didn't end up being local, actually, it was international. But, and something where we can donate half the proceeds to Mind and half the proceeds to the artists. So it's a good way of supporting up and coming artists, putting their name out there, and also just helping them financially for a little bit as well. So that was good. And then 2 days later we'd created a website and had an Instagram, and had this, we called it Curated for COVID. And neither of us were both artists, but we'd never curated an exhibition before. So I think it's a good early step to do it online, I think. So that was quite exciting for us. And we got 500 applicants for it, and we ended up having just over 100 pieces in the show. And so we launched on the Friday, and after the Friday and Saturday, we'd already raised 10 grand, which was so amazing. And I don't think neither of us expected that. We didn't really know what to expect, but it was just such a nice feeling that, I don't know, we'd done something. It was a lot of work, a lot of effort, and tested our friendship, definitely. But it's something I definitely do again. And it was just a really nice feeling. So it's good to just donate some money, support some artists. And also just, I don't know, nice to collaborate with someone else on something in a time like that, definitely.
So is Curated for, I can't say that.
And it's a bit of a tongue twister.
Curated for COVID still around? The website's still there?
The Instagram's still there. The website isn't live anymore. We've had to take it down. But the Instagram's still there. If you search Curated for COVID, you can see all the artwork that was in the exhibition. Right,
okay. So can people still purchase, or is it all gone?
We've closed the sale, so most of it sold. I think about 80% of the artwork sold, and the exhibition's closed now. But all the artists are still on there, so you can all contact them directly if you're interested in their work.
That's amazing, and what an amazing thing to do for charity, and get people's name out there.
Yeah, it was nice. It was great for Rachel and I, because we discovered lots of new artists as well. Whilst using some of our artists that we really admire, and some of our friends and people we really look up to already. But it was really good for discovering new artwork. Yeah,
and testing your friendship.
Yeah, exactly. Very stressful dealing with 200 odd people. But no, really interesting.
So you can now say that you've curated. I literally can't say that word. Curated.
Yeah, it's been good. I definitely do it again. It's nice, piecing together certain works and seeing what works together, what doesn't, what you think will sell, what you also personally like. It's definitely a skill which I haven't mastered yet, but it's a good stepping stone, definitely.
So where would you like your work to go to now?
You mean exhibiting?
What's your goal? What's your goal with your artwork?
My God, I tell you what, I think I've been working very small recently because I've been selling, a drawing a day, quite small pieces, just working on them every day. And I think I would like to work large scale and definitely work on some huge canvases next. And I think I was meant to be in LA, sadly, this summer on like a 3-month residency. So that's been postponed. So I think I'm gonna go to south of France next month and with my partner and make a little residency instead. So I think fingers crossed that will be okay to travel. We'll have to see what happens with that. But it'd be nice to have a lot of outdoor space and just work on some huge works for that.
That's amazing. You did. I seem to remember that you do a large piece that went to the States?
I did, yes. It was the largest piece I've done, actually. So that was a commission.
Did you do it on your mum's dining room floor?
Also quite stressful. But that was an interesting moment. Yeah, it was 3.5 by 1.5 meters. So that's the largest piece I've ever done.
Wow, that's massive.
Yeah, it was really nice. But because I was meant to be going to California this summer, I didn't get a studio.
Yeah.
And because I just started out also, I was skeptical about whether I'd be able to live as an artist. I didn't want to jump, put all my money in certain place initially. But studio is next on my list actually. Yeah.
Somewhere to work from. I remember having a conversation with your mum around how that was going to be posted.
Yeah, interesting. Got a huge roll in the end, and it arrived very safely.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for some photos of that. I think they're getting it like lit behind, which should be nice as well.
Oh wow.
I know.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
So, how are you feeling now about the whole Corona thing? Do you feel more at ease, or as at ease as you can with something like this?
I feel a lot more at ease with it now. It's almost like I forget a lot of the times that it's out there. When I'm walking along and then I'll see someone in a face mask again and remember, But it's, it's almost the fact that, it's obviously still present in the UK a lot, but I feel a lot more at ease about it. Do you? Yeah. How do you feel about it all?
I think, like you said earlier, particularly because I work from home, I don't go out a lot, if I'm honest.
Oh, same,
I literally don't go out an awful lot. I went into New York the other day, and it was only because I was meeting somebody for a coffee, where we sat on the market stalls because there was nowhere else to sit.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I was like, oh, it's really quiet. Oh, yeah, it's really quiet because most places are still closed and you can't do that. So it's not until I go out and like I see people in shops in masks and gloves and stuff. I go, oh yeah, that's still happening. It's still out there. So did you get yourself a really cool mask?
I did. I got myself a checkered. I got someone I knew to make one, checkered mask, blue and white checks with like a matching top as well.
Oh,
great.
Cool. There's a little shop in town called Petit Fazai, next on Stodden Street, and she's making some beautiful masks.
Really?
Like really, really stunning, and you can almost give her any fabric you want, and she'll make it into a mask for you.
Amazing! That sounds so nice.
She was like, it's a really lovely shop. When you come back up, you must go in because she just sells the most beautiful, stylish accessories and hats and scarves and all sorts of stuff. Right? It's just lovely. She's got a real eye. Hadra, her name is, but she was saying this is going to be the fashion accessory of the year. These masks.
It is. I tell you what, it is. It's all about the little things at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. People are absolutely rocking them.
They really are. Yeah, definitely. It's just a small thing. I was in a queue for a coffee the other day, and just this random lovely guy was saying how he loved the fact I paired my socks with my skirt, both leopard print, and how it made his day seeing that. And I was so tough. Everyone's so miserable. It's like the tiny things that are perking people up.
that just lift us a little bit. The little things.
I know. Yeah, true.
Beth, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Kev. It was lovely to meet you.
It was such an interesting and inspiring story to hear that an artist at the beginning of your career can turn something like this into such a positive. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
And Newark should be proud that you're a local girl.
Thank you very much. I'm very proud to be from Newark.
Is there anything, I feel like I'm going to throw this at you now, is there anything that you want to leave the listener with? Any little golden nugget?
I'd say if you've got, I'd say, which I would give myself a piece of advice, I'd give to myself at 17 or 16, for example, and I'd just say, if you've got an idea, just run with it. And, you know, don't listen to adults a lot of the time. You know?
We don't know what we're talking about.
We don't now. Trust me. I mean, I'm in denial, but I think I'm finally one. I don't feel like one.
Well, tapping into something you said earlier, it was about feeling that something wasn't right, and then trusting that gut, and then going with it, which for you worked out. And I remember you saying that even on your first day in art college, you were like, "Whoa, what have I done?" And you're like,
"Yeah,
go with it."
Definitely.
And now look, I have a piece of artwork in my drawer in there that is going up in price every day.
Fingers crossed.
I'm relying on you, Beth. I'm relying on you. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much as well. It's been lovely.
No, it's been lovely. So remember that these podcasts are for you. I'm looking for guests, COVID related at the moment, but remember that it has to be COVID related and mental health based. If you are interested in recording, then give us a shout. You can catch me on Go Through Therapy's Facebook page, or you can contact the radio station. All of their details for Radio New York are online. Beth, thank you again.
Thank you so much. Great to chat.
Perhaps we'll see you the next time you come up. To everybody else out there, be safe, take care, be kind to yourself and everybody around you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Perfect.